Growlithe and Arcanine, Pokemon that need no introduction. Being OGs from the original Gen 1, these Pokemon have been around and a viable competitive Pokemon since the beginning. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, get in and see what this Pokemon can do and how versatile it really is. Arcanine, number 71 in the Galarian Pokédex. It comes in at 6 feet 3 inches tall, 341.7 pounds. Its Pokédex reads, the sight of it running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night has captivated many people. So to get yourself a Growlithe or an Arcanine, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One, you can head over to the Dusty Bowl, and in the right weather, nice and sunny outside, you can get a Growlithe wandering around in the grass. You'll know you have the right weather if you see a bunch of hippos running around as well. There are also dens that house this Pokemon, but they are Shield exclusive, and I believe you can also get this Pokemon in the Fire Gym grass. Once you have the right weather condition, just bike around a little bit. As you can see, we've got some hippos walking around over there, and I see a Growlithe in the grass, so we're going to head over to that. And then from there, it's just a simple snatch and grab, get into your battle, throw a Pokeball at it. Quick balls do work the best, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and now you have yourself a Growlithe. Level it up, give it a Firestone, and you're good to go. So now we get into the real meat of the Pokemon. Arcanine is a mono fire type. It comes in with an HP stat of 90, attack 110, defense 80, speed 95, special attack 100, and special defense of 80. Due to its amazingly well-rounded stats, Arcanine is going to be able to take a couple hits when you need it to, but it's also going to allow you to dish out that same punishment back to your opponent. Depending on what your partners are, if you're doing singles and doubles, and what your setup is going to look like with other Pokemon, this Pokemon can outspeed everything, take things down with it, and be an absolute powerhouse for your team. Moving on into resistances and weaknesses, we could see that Arcanine actually has 3 times more elements that it's resistant to than it's weak against. It is 2 times weak against ground, rock, and water. However, on the other side of the coin, it is half resistant to bug, steel, fire, grass, ice, and fairy. Being resistant to fairy is fantastic, considering how many fairy Pokemon are being used right now in the game. Whatever the fairy teams that you're going to be going against, whether it's a Galarian Weezing, taking away its fear of Will-O-Wisp, or whether it's a Sylveon and just one-shotting it down, Arcanine is going to be an ace in your pocket. Arcanine does have 3 different abilities that you can choose from: Flash Fire, Intimidate, and Justify. Intimidate, the Pokemon intimidates the opposing Pokemon upon entering the battle, lowering their attack stats. In doubles, this does work for both of your opposing Pokemon. Flash Fire powers up the Pokemon's Fire-type moves if it's hit by one, and Justified, which is the hidden ability, being hit by a Dark-type move, boosts the attack stat of the Pokemon for justice. Break it down, when you get hit by a dark move, you gain a bonus to your attack stat. In this video, we're going to mostly be looking at Intimidate and Justified. We are not going to be using Flash Fire that much, so if you do have questions on Flash Fire, message in the comments below or feel free to stop into the Discord. Now we're going to look at some utility moves that the Arcanine can get. Roar, Morning Sun, which is a fantastic recovery move, Leer, Howl, Safeguard, Protect, Rest, Scary Face, Attract, and Will-O-Wisp. Going back to Morning Sun restores the user's current HP based on the weather in the battle. During no weather or during strong winds, it restores half the total HP. During harsh sunlight, it restores 2/3 or 75% of the total HP, and during other weather, it restores 1/4 total HP. So as you can see, Morning Sun is a fantastic skill that you can have on your Arcanine. Now, while Arcanine doesn't have a great plethora of setup moves, it does have a few, and some of them are very handy. Helping Hand, for example, to help set up some damage by your ally Pokemon. Agility, greatly raising your speed. Sunny Day, obviously setting all fire skills up. And Substitute, which is going to take you out of harm's way and set you up to play kind of a recovery game in the back. Substitute could definitely go hand in hand with Morning Sun, as well as other utility moves to debuff your enemy. So now we get into the real meat of this Pokemon, which is his physical offensive moveset. It's ridiculous. There are so many moves that you can choose from here, so this is what I suggest. Sit down, take a look at the moves here, see what you want to do for coverage. I would suggest thinking back to your rankings, think about what Pokemon you're seeing frequently and how you want to counter those Pokemon. Because there's coverage in Arcanine's movesets. There is so much you can do here. Everything from electric attacks to, priority +2 attacks, fairy, dragon, ground. This Pokemon has it all, so you've got plenty of coverage you can do in here. But then also think about what you want to do when you Dynamax. Maybe you're not always going to be using Flare Blitz to set up the Sunny Day. Maybe you want to do something to set up debuffs, reducing the speed of the enemy Pokemon. There's so much you can do here. Take your time, figure out what you want to do, and then make it and go crush some Mons. Now, Arcanine doesn't necessarily specialize in special offense. However, it's not a slouch either. With 100 special attack, there is no reason why you couldn't add a special offensive move in there, especially when you have things like Flamethrower or Fire Spin. If you're not using your G-Max Charizard and you want to get that extra Fire Spin damage, you have Fire Spin options here. There's plenty that he has that you can still use on the special offensive side of things, so take a look. Don't necessarily just assume that all physical is all the way to go. There are many different ways to build this Pokemon. There are a lot of different ways to build this Pokemon, so definitely take a look at some special offense. Mix it up. You can have a special offensive and a physical offensive on the same set. So as far as OHKO moves, Arcanine doesn't have any. This is not something that's going to hinder him or reduce his value at all. He's still going to be a Class S rank Pokemon, in my opinion. There are other Pokemon that have OHKO moves, so go for them. This doesn't hurt him at all. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of other moves in the sea. Moving into egg moves, Arcanine does have a few egg moves to look at. It has Covet, Thrash, Double Kick, Double Edge, and Morning Sun. Now, most of these I wouldn't really worry about too much. However, there are a few you might want to take a look at with 120 damage. That's going to be Double Edge and Thrash. I don't like using the Thrash because you kind of get locked into it, and if you're not using a choice item, then that's not what you're really going for anyways. And Double Edge, you already have a much better recoil attack in Flare Blitz, so I don't see much reason to use this. However, this is where you get your Morning Sun. Remember, we talked about that earlier. It's a great recovery move. You do need to get this from an egg move, so this is something you might want to look at in the future because it is an awesome skill. Okay, so moving on, let's go ahead and talk about some movesets. There's a lot of different ways to build this Pokemon specifically. We're going to go over 3, but the first I want to talk about is going to be the ability Justified and a moveset and a little bit of a pairing that goes along with that. The first being, remember what Justified does. It raises your attack stat, physical attack stat, when you're attacked by a dark type move. So for this set, you can do Jolly or Adamant, either raising your speed or your physical attack. I've been rocking this as a Jolly. That's what I've been using it as. The EV spread is going to be 252 to attack and 252 to speed, with the remaining balance to whatever you really desire. Moving over to the other side, you can see for item we're using either a Life Orb or a Choice Band. Either one is going to give you a bonus to your attack. One is going to do a little bit more damage to you every turn, which is Life Orb. The other one is going to lock you into one move choice, which is the Choice Band. Now, there's no wrong choice. Whichever one of the items you pick, whether it's the Life Orb or the Choice Band, I personally am using the Life Orb because I don't want to get stuck into one option when Arcanine has such a wide array of coverage that it can choose from. I want to be able to use that coverage with this Pokemon to my advantage so that I don't get cornered into one thing. As far as moves, you can see that we have Extreme Speed, Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, and Morning Sun on here. Obviously, we've talked about Morning Sun. That is going to be our recovery move here. Wild Charge gives us great coverage against a lot of different Pokemon, but especially against Water-type Pokemon and Rain-type teams that are going to come in. This will actually help us really defend against them and knock them out, especially if we have our attack boosted from our Justified ability. Flare Blitz is going to give us our stab move, and obviously Flare Blitz is a heavy damaging attack anyways. And then we have our priority +2 with Extreme Speed, so we're very well covered here. We've got a lot of different options to really knock a lot of different Pokemon out. So remember, I'm using this formation here mostly for doubles format, which means I have pairing Pokemon that are going along with it. One of the Pokemon I'm using the most for this is Whimsicott. And what I'm doing is I'm starting out with a Tailwind, obviously to give me better speed on the field for all my Pokemon. And then depending on the situation, I'll either use a Sunny Day with the Whimsicott, or I'll use Max Flare with the Arcanine to set up the Sunny Day itself. And then I'll go into using Beat Up, which is a Dark-type move on the Justified Arcanine, to give it 2 to 5 plus 1 attack boosts. So once this thing hits plus 5, it's going to just wreck everything that comes in front of it. There's not much that's going to be able to live, especially with your choice in coverage. You're really going to be able to wipe out your enemy teams and start sweeping full doubles teams with this. So this set here, this is going to be with the ability Intimidate. That's what this set's mostly going to be. This is going to be more for singles and more for casual fun, maybe with your friends and whatnot. But we're going to go with a Jolly and Adamant nature. The EV spread is going to be 252 HP, 252 speed. You could change the HP to defense or special defense, kind of depending on how you want to play it. You can see the moves here are going to be Flare Blitz, Extreme Speed, Close Combat, and Protect. Now, Protect is nice because it'll help you, especially if you're going against the Dynamax Pokemon. It'll help you waste some of their turns. The Citrus Berry is our recovery move here. Basically, as you're using Flare Blitz or taking damage, the Citrus Berry is going to heal you. The nice thing is when you're using Flare Blitz and taking that recoil, it's a little bit more predictable, a little bit more manageable as to when you're going to use your berry versus when the enemies are going to attack you, if they're going to attack you, and so on. So you can kind of manage and mitigate that a little bit more. We still have our +2 priority here, Close Combat, that needs no introduction, great physical attacking skill. So this is going to be a moveset that you can still come in, do a lot of damage, maybe tank a little bit more, maybe kind of troll the enemy a little bit, waste their Dynamax, but this could be a really fun moveset for you to try. So the last set we're going to be looking at here, this is going to be an Intimidate set. We're going to have a defensive nature on here, careful or impish. I would recommend going with the special defense here because of the Intimidate set. Also, we're going to have Will-O-Wisp on here. So we're going to be debuffing physical attacks pretty significantly. So adding that extra defensive nature with the 252 special defense and EVs is going to really kind of balance that out a little bit more. Obviously, you're going to be a little bit better on the physical side, but this will help kind of keep you alive a little bit longer too. We've got another 252 into HP. The last you could throw into the other defense, whichever one you're not using. We do have Morning Sun on here. That's going to be our recovery move, which we went over earlier. We also have Citrus Berry here. So again, once you drop below 50%, Citrus Berry is going to start picking up, and it's going to heal you for 25% of your HP. Flare Blitz, obviously, that's going to be your one heavy hitter that this Pokemon has. Pretty much always, Flare Blitz will never let you down. But then we also have Helping Hand, which is going to help buff your allied Pokemon out so that they're really hitting like a truck in their next round. This is a very nice set to use, especially if you are fighting somebody that's very physical attack oriented. You can really mess up their entire team with just the Arcanine and still probably survive and start dishing out tons of damage. So the takeaway from all this, guys, is that this Pokemon not only has good stats, but also a fantastic move pool to choose from. A very versatile Pokemon with a lot of coverage. There's a lot of things that you can do with Arcanine, and that is a reason why you should be adding this Pokemon to your team. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. If it was helpful, feel free to drop a like or subscribe. But other than that, guys, if you have your own build for Arcanine that you think is fantastic, that you stand behind, and you want me to see it, please feel free to drop it down in the comment below. Best place to do it is get me on Discord or stop into the Twitch channel, and I'd love to see that build. I'd love to try it out and see exactly how good it is. But other than that, thank you so much for your time, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Until later, take care.